احنا
لا يا احلام مش كده اللي كان قصدي انه يعيد يعلقه.
عادي لا هذا يعلق عادي ما فيش اشياء ميه.
قاعد فوق بس
يا الله عجوز خلاص يا جماعه
خلاص قلنا شنو؟
Roaya started out in a very, started out very out of pure, I don't know, good feelings. I was called one day by one of my friends, one of my really old friends. We knew, like a friend that I knew for 30 years, since I was 0 years old. And he called me and he was telling me that, listen, I'm sure that you're doing something during this whole thing. And this is, of course, in the beginning of the revolution, around March or early April. And he was telling me that I'm sure that you're busy, and I was, but what do you think about having some sort of joint effort between you, me, and a couple of other really good guys that I recommend? And I said, okay, I'm up for it. Let's see what we can do. And then we met. Basically, it was a bunch of friends. I knew only 2 of the 6 or 7 people that were there, and we had lots of discussions. We didn't really have a clear idea about having a newspaper or whatever. We were just thinking about some sort of collaborative effort, because we've all been very, very active, but in our own separate ways. So we were thinking of something collaborative. And during that discussion, we were one of the ideas while we were brainstorming was a newspaper. We discussed that, and when we discussed further, we basically noted that there were quite a few newspapers that just popped up recently, but we thought that they were very samey. They were all more or less the same. So we thought that if we do this, if we want to go into journalism, then we're going to do it a little bit different.
Roaya in English means vision. So we started, the first issue came on 1 of May 2011. And before that I was a communication engineer in a mobile company here in Libya.
حلو تمام. انت
نقدر نسويه هو في الإمارات.
على سبيل المثال هو
or newspaper team have attended several workshops and training sessions organized by international organization, various international organizations in several subjects, some of which focused on journalism and media, in particular, which help us to develop our skills.
I think journalism as a whole was completely suppressed during Gaddafi days, and when the revolution started, or after the revolution, both men and women, they had the chance to work in media. It's an equal chance between men and women after the revolution, not just for only women but also for men. But I also have one point to talk about, which is how people view women in media, because before days they were looking at the woman who's working in media as a they didn't really like the idea of women working in media. Maybe because she was most women working in TV station were praising Gaddafi. Maybe that's the idea, I don't know. But nowadays, because they view them in a different way, they almost view them as heroes because of what they done during revolution. So I think how people view women in media has changed a lot.
What I want Roaya to be is I want it to be part of a real free media. I don't want this just for Roaya. I want this for Libya in general. Free press and free media in general is, in my opinion, one of the strongest tools that you can have to ensure that you have a proper democracy. Libya has a very long history of corruption. It's going to be a long battle against corruption. It's not a matter of getting rid of Gaddafi. All sorts of corruption, financial corruption, political corruption, you name it. But I think one of the strongest weapons against it is free press. So in the current setting, there seems to be a bit of push and pull between different forces in Libya. Some people who are, for example, saying that too much free media can cause all sorts of disruptions, and other people who are saying who view such statements as direct threats to the media. I'm sort of in the middle, but I do tend to be on the second part. I do feel that any attack on free media regardless of how it's motivated, if it's coming from a bad intention or a good intention, it's still a wrong thing to do. I very strongly believe that the truth is the truth. The truth needs to be told as it is. We have a long-lasting illusion that the people are just weak-minded and they can't handle certain truths, and you need to treat them like children. I'm disgusted by this mentality, and it's sometimes frustrating because you see that it's definitely something that the Gaddafi system has implemented for sure and maintained and nurtured. But now that is gone, but the mentality is still there. So it will take some time to get rid of that. But I'm very, very motivated, and I'm very happy. I'm sure that it's going the right direction. For me, I always discuss with my friends, and I tell them one thing. I don't expect to see magic solutions. I don't expect to see 100% free media overnight. But what I am interested in, and what I do, like really, really spend all my effort to see, is basically an upwards trend. As long as the graph is going up, regardless of how small it is, the increment. As long as it's going up, I'm happy, and we'll get there. I may not see the absolute end result myself, but somebody along the line will. That's what matters.